Hey, I don't know if I would even, upload this video on YouTube or not, but recently, within the past 10 days, I would say, I've started to develop exhaustion, and I have not been satisfied with what has been going on within my life. It happened way back in time when I was in Abbottabad. I was in a research lab working with a supervisor, and I was like totally into my work, even though I was struggling, with a couple of factors. The fact that I was living alone in a hostel, my diet was not so good, and a lot of factors. I was struggling with my addiction, but still I was like sincere to my work, and I tried to absorb the best amount of knowledge possible within that research lab, so I could see the practical side of the pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry, and I did actually do that. I did that pretty well. I did have an understanding of how things work, how different tools in organic chemistry are applied, like how drug designing is done, how you do everything. Like there's this approach of reverse recipe, you can say, of disconnection approach in organic chemistry, where you disconnect the bonds and get to know how the product was made in the first place, which recipe was used, and it was fun. It wasn't like easy at all, but I was like getting on the track, so it was fun. And what I was referring to, by the way, was the fact that I got exhausted back then as well. And what's similar to that situation and this situation? It was that the amount of energy that I was putting in was not actually providing me with the result. The efficacy was not as much as expected. So I just got exhausted. And finally I got to know that my paper that I wrote, my research work, was not going to be published, and it was never published. My supervisor told me, because of the way I would describe it is their narrow-mindedness. That's the way I would describe it, because he was into the work, he was into the field, and from him I got to know how the field works, but he was really not that competent the way he seemed. He was basically a salesman. He was not an educationist that you might say. He was like an industry guy. He was like a salesperson who wanted his team to be bigger, and his name to be in the front. Like anyone who wants to just like a narcissistic trait of personality. And the department didn't like it. The department, my teachers, they didn't like him as well, the supervisor. So they had their reasons, but I have mine now, and I know what that is. So anyway, my work wasn't published, and what I expected out of it wasn't going to happen. That I got to know back in time, and it did not happen. Now I know that. So if I compare that time with this time, um, you know, it's kind of same. But let me tell you one thing. It's not like I never got anything out of the previous event of my life as well, because what I did get was an understanding. It was like a that was like embedded within my neurological system back then, and it cannot be eradicated. I have that understanding, I have that knowledge right within my head to be able to understand how practical side of the medicinal chemistry works, which being the field that I want to get into, how I can get into the drug designing world. It is a big freaking world, and guess what? It takes steps, and that can be the first step for me, you know. So I did get a lot out of it. I just didn't get that prize that was, once mentioned for me, and that being like my paperwork to be published, that, set as a standard for me to be satisfied by. But that was not true. That was not real. What was real was already given to me, and my exhaustion was just because of that fake standard that was set, which I did not get, and just because I expected a lot from that particular price and that particular standard that they set, not the reality. So it's the same for me right now. It's the same for me right now, and I think I achieved a lot. I think let me share a bit of a history, some history of mine from back in time when I left uni, and when I completed my graduation and went back home in Rahim Khan, and spent a couple of months, like 3 to 4 months, maybe more, 6 months I would say. And then I came here in Rawalpindi, actually in Islamabad, and then I got to know that Rawalpindi offers like a much easier lifestyle and more opportunities as compared to Islamabad, because that place is a bit expensive for a beginner, and back in time I was a beginner. I didn't have experience, at least as much as I do right now, within the field that can provide me with monthly income, you can say, So let me record another one. I don't know if it's recorded or not, being the storage problem. Alright, so that video was recorded as you watched it, so thank God. I was going to talk about my history. So as per my history, I came from Rahim Khan after spending like 6 months in my hometown, which is Rahim Khan. And I came here without knowing what kind of work I could get. I knew what was my skill set, which was, communication, I believe. And then I came here and applied in a couple of organizations. And wherever I went, I did get the job. And I just chose where to be and where not to be, So I decided to be in KP Leeds, where I work right now. And I have been working here since for the past 6 months now. It's November, so something like April, I don't know, that's right. So I came here, and once I came here, I'm comparing things right now with the past event of my life, where I did not get that standard which was set by someone else, which was actually not a standard to be satisfied by, which was not set by the reality, but some particular individuals who created an environment within an organization for me to be satisfied by, which was fake. So anyway, I did get what I wanted. I did get what I was supposed to get. So speaking of right now, here's what happened. After I came within this place, Rawalpindi. I got the job for about 35K per month, and I didn't have like enough to be spending, and I didn't have my resources, which I still lack. I have more than what I had back in time, like 5 to 6 months ago, when I started this solo journey. So back then I was offered like 35K, and I tried to maintain things. I literally went through hell because I moved places. I went to a hostel, then I went to yeah, I went to a hostel in Islamabad, and then when I got the job, I moved here in Rawalpindi within another hostel, and the food was like worse, and my IBS symptoms, they were like at the peak. My stomach wasn't good, so I couldn't be there because I wasn't able to prepare my own food. Even my own diet, I got to know like till now what should be a better diet, but my dental health being a problem for me to perfectly follow that diet plan. Yep, and that's right. So anyway, I struggled my way through those 5 months, and then I got here. And within after the hostel, I went to another flat. That flat was like, that was good. That was a good place, I would say. I mean, I still had that 35K per month worth of job, and I was still struggling with paychecks. I'm sorry, with the budget, not with the paychecks, and because the company is good, I would say. And then within like 4 months, they increased my paycheck from 35 to its double, which is like, first they increased it to 50, then they increased it to 55, then 60, then and it's kind of going on, alhamdulillah. And that's right, that's right. So the paychecks are increasing, but within this AEP, let me just actually compare my lifetime, my previous event with this one, because within this AEP, which is the annual enrollment period, let me tell you what this is. This is like a season that you get within the whole year of Medicare verification, where you can actually make some money, some bonuses, and that's right. The AEP started on 15th of October, annual enrollment period for Medicare verification that I do. And I was expecting my family to be with me because, I thought my facilitation would be easier, my life would be easier with the convenience of somebody living with me, but then they had to go back home because of their health, and some reasons I could not deny and cannot deny, even though I do have that amount of anger within myself, that that was a result of me facing all those hardships that I had to go through. But it doesn't mean that I have to actually store that anger within myself if I make sense out of it. That's right. That's right. AP started. The standard was expected. A bonus was expected, and AP hasn't ended yet. And it can be made. It can be made, and it got me exhausted. It got me exhausted because of a couple of factors. Now, this is not just a single factor for me to be affected by that. I'm not getting as much as I expected. my reports are not good enough or something. I mean, two of the reports were very good, and then suddenly I, went to the 22nd number from fifth number, the top fifth, you know. So that affected, I know it affected me, but what affected me more would be my health in general, my dental health, my day-to-day diet, my diet plan, my everything, resources. Family's coming within a couple of days. It would be easier. It would be easier, starting to get easy to make progress, and once it will be easy, I would make progress, not just in terms of, making the bonuses. I shouldn't really care about the bonuses right now, and I should really focus upon the fact that I have been achieving things perpetually, month by month. My paychecks have increased, and the fact that I should be focusing upon my basic salary, and I should, thrive. I should be performing the way I'm performing, and I would be producing the max possible with, with all that I've got, I mean, I shouldn't take the stress, that's what I'm saying, which affected me, and I shouldn't take the stress because it affected me. I should be focused upon the work, and if I wouldn't take the stress, I will be able to be focused, and I will be able to produce the max amount of sales and transfers that I would be able to, more than I would be able to while taking stress, That's all that I had been going through. But again and again I say, health matters, resources matter, and my performance will be getting better only once my lifestyle is consistent. My manager asked me, why is not your performance consistent? You do pretty good, and then some few days come where you're not doing anything. So I told him, looking in the eye, that I would be consistent, my work would be consistent once my lifestyle would be consistent. And he agreed with it. He knew what I was talking about, because that guy's living the same kind of life. He's from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and he lives here alone in a flat with a couple of his colleagues, and that's right, he's going through the same thing. So he doesn't have to actually perform in terms of transfers, but of course he has to perform in terms of management, you can say. But that happens with him too, that is happening with me. So he did actually get to know the taste of what I get to go through per day. And it's fine. It's fine. Going through hardships is fine, because it's actually the index to the fact that you're making progress. Hardships are not bad. Hardships do hinder efficacy within the moment, but they actually help you grow. When you put pressure on your brain, when you break your tissues, you become more smarter and your muscles become more stronger. So that's the way life is, So it's fine. Just be okay, be satisfied. And hey, these days, it's just that happens to me suddenly. My energy levels drop down below even lower levels of energy when I'm at work,
it happens suddenly, like, and it happens not only through a concept. It's happening due to my health, and that is something I need to address. Even while speaking, I'm able to feel my wisdom teeth, one on the left, one on the right, and yeah, that needs to be addressed. So you cannot actually, neglect the hardships, but you shouldn't actually depreciate the hardships as well. You should appreciate them. So that's the concept. You should appreciate them. Meanwhile, you should address them. Appreciate them because they prove that you were strong. They prove that you were strong and that you can be put into such a hardship. And address them because you don't actually, deserve to go through them. It's a dual nature within. It's a weird, concept, isn't it? Ironic. You don't deserve the hardships, but meanwhile, if you are facing the hardships, then it means you're strong. And that's why you're facing them. And you have to address them because you don't deserve them. So make sense out of it, but that's the way it is, And once you will address your hardships, you will become more strong and you will be able to face, you don't actually have to all the time be facing the hardships. It's just that if you would address them, you would be able to make more progress. Yes, and hardships are like that phase where progress can be hindered, but it means that you are looking towards making progress. Fuck. What's happening to my brain? I don't know. Whatever. Just make sense out of it, Don't be dependent upon my philosophies. Even my philosophies sometimes can be, so complicated that I can't get them. But anyway, freaking leave it. Oh, stopped asking if I got. Oh, get away. Yep. Watching YouTube. I'm going through. I will go to a dentist and, don't be like me. Don't be overthinking. Go to a specialist, get yourself checked if you have any problems, and that is exactly what I would do. I went to a nutritionist, spent the particular amount of money that I had, and now I will have some amount of money within the next month, within this month, but after a couple of days actually. And that's how I would be able to visit a specialist for my dental health. And that's what I would do. And once it would be fixed, one of the hardships would be addressed. Yeah.